Hello beautiful people out there. I hope this video finds you in good health. This period of quarantine has forced me to take up what I always wanted to do, that is film analysis and breakdown of world cinema. I feel today we have a lot of stuff to watch on the internet, but very few of us know that the oldest surviving movie till date, called Roundhay Garden Scene, was made in the year 1888. So technically it's been 132 years since movies have existed, and how many have we watched? Barely even a percent, right? So out of my passion and love for cinema, and with the objective of unearthing rare gems of 132-year-old cinematic world for a larger audience, I'm bringing to you CineMama, a cinephile creating many. Without further ado, I present my first film analysis and breakdown for you. This is one of my most favorite films and rather underrated. Directed by legendary Woody Allen, I bring for you Midnight in Paris. Synopsis: Gil Pender, played by Owen Wilson, is a hugely famous scriptwriter of Hollywood, but he does that only to make a living. His real dream is to write a novel someday, and Inez, his fiancée, played by the beautiful Rachel McAdams, somehow doesn't feel like it's a good decision for their marriage and constantly thinks that it's a risk. While this is happening, the couple plans a holiday to Paris, and as the story progresses, we come to know that Gil has always been obsessed with Paris of the 1920s, as many great artists, writers, painters all happen in the Paris of 1920s, and that he wants to settle in Paris and write a novel there. Gil and Inez, while having dinner with Inez's parents, stumble upon Inez's college-time crush, Paul Bates, played by Michael Sheen, and his wife Carol, played by Nina Arianda. Interestingly, Michael Sheen has literally made us hate his character in the film because he comes across as a complete jerk.
He's a pseudo-intellectual. Just a little.
The pedantic one.
Pedantic gentleman.
Pedantic. Yes, that's a perfect word.
I agree with them. Immediately taken by the coincidence, Carol plans a hangout for the four of them, but the introverted Gil is hesitant to go along, somehow convinced by Inez.
Do you really want to give it all up just to struggle?
Gil joins the bandwagon but doesn't really feel taken with the events.
Why don't you tell them about the lead character that you're working on right now?
Well, I don't like to discuss my work.
An inebriated Gil, freshly out of a degustation party, insists on walking instead of taking a cab back to this hotel.
Okay, but you should take a cab.
No, I'm not taking a cab. I'm walking.
No, you get lost.
Okay, I'm gonna walk.
He gets lost, and right at the stroke of midnight something weird happens and he ends up in a party where everything seems extraordinary and old and vintage. Everything looks sepia tinted. Soon he encounters a couple who introduces themselves as Zelda and F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Gil really only laughs at the ridiculousness of it all.
As what?
You know, Scott Fitzgerald and...
Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald, the Fitzgeralds. Isn't she beautiful?
Yes.
He starts realizing that all these people existed back in 1920s, and ultimately it occurs to him that he has somehow traveled back in time to his favorite era, the 1920s.
That's not possible.
There he finds the opportunity to get the draft of his novel reviewed by the contemporary legends in the history of world literature, including Ernest Hemingway and Gertrude Stein. Also, within his couple visits back in 1920s, Gil meets Adriana, portrayed by the absolutely beautiful Marion Cotillard, who is believed to have been Pablo Picasso's muse at the time. Gil falls in love with Adriana, who he doesn't even know will exist forever, and he's already on the verge of getting married to Inez, who he knows is from his present time.
No, that doesn't happen.
As the story progresses, Inez starts turning suspicious towards Gil's behavior, and so do her parents, who claim to have always believed Gil to be not really good a person.
I've seen what he earns, but sometimes I think he's got a part missing.
Rest of the film is hilarious, wise, and at times touching story of Gil's misadventures and how does he choose between the times he can coexist is what the film is all about. So highlights: I personally love the marriage of fiction with reality in a believable manner, and Midnight in Paris is by far the best example of it. Woody Allen, one of the most revered directors of all times, has woven magic with a Parisian thread, and you don't feel like leaving this warm blanket of the film he has woven. And I was enthralled to see all my favorite actors portraying legends from the history of art and literature from 1920s. Corey Stoll plays Ernest Hemingway, Tom Hiddleston plays Fitzgerald, Kathy Bates plays Gertrude Stein, and last and the most hilarious one, Adrian Brody plays Salvador Dali to perfection. I literally rewatch clips of Adrian Brody as Salvador Dali again and again on YouTube. Other historical figures portrayed in the film are Man Ray, Louise Buñuel, Henri Matisse, Juna Barnes, among others. Beautiful contemporary music in the background throughout the film makes sure that you're immersed in the emotions that are being portrayed on the screen, and I'm sure that there will be a light smile on your face throughout the film. It is that brilliant. Léa Seydoux and Carla Bruni too have interesting characters to play in the film, but I will leave that for you to discover while you watch the film. By the way, if you didn't know, Carla Bruni, who I just mentioned, happens to be the wife of ex-president of France, Nicolas Sarkozy. And let me tell you, she is brilliant with the part she has played in the film. Technically speaking, the film is an achievement. The cinematography by Darius Khondji is class apart, and you'll get to see that from the first frame of the film where he has beautifully captured Paris. And even in the beginning of the film, for 3 minutes and 40 seconds straight, with beautiful Parisian music playing in the background, he has captured Paris beautifully. Performance by each and every actor in the film is top-notch, even if it is for a minute. You don't want to miss it. Story, as I mentioned earlier, is an amazing marriage of fiction to reality, so good that you either believe it's completely true or it's completely fiction. It's pure bliss. So do watch the film, let me know in the comment section below how you liked it, and also comment on which film would you like me to review the next. If you like the video and if you support what I'm doing, give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share the video across your circles. CineMama will see you again shortly.
That's the end of the story.
Don't go yet. Here's my most liked scene from the film for you.
Garde! Garde! Qu'on lui coupe la tête! Qu'on lui coupe la tête!
The scene that you just saw is a surprise element in the film. Watch the film and tell me in the comment section below.